What is up? It's Myers Prods, and today we're record predicting for the NFL this upcoming season. And let's get into it. Starting off with the Cowboys against Eagles. I obviously have the Eagles winning that. Uh, for number 2, I think Kansas City takes that. I think Bucks beat the Falcons. Bengals and Browns. Bengals probably beat their butts. Dolphins, Colts, gonna be a very close match up. I think the Dolphins barely squeak by. Panthers and Jags, I have the Panthers winning that. I can't say that the Raiders won't beat the Patriots. Hold up, I just gotta make sure I predicted that right. Yep, okay. And now Saints and Cardinals. Cardinals easily beat them. Steelers, Jets, Steelers. Giants, Commanders, Commanders. Titans, Broncos, Broncos. Seahawks, Niners. I'm debating because the Cardinals. The Niners could be good, but the Seahawks I think will win that just by a hair. Lions beat the Packers. Houston and Texans and Rams. I have the Texans leading them. Actually, no, the Rams make more sense. Very good matchup. I have the Ravens winning that. And then for this matchup, the Vikings should easily squeak past the Bears. Commanders, Packers, I had the Commanders winning that. Ravens should beat the Browns. Should. Anyways, Bengals, think they beat them. The Cowboys easily beat the Giants, except not in this case for them, if you look at this. The Lions will beat the Bears, not that hard of a choice. Dolphins beat the Patriots. Niners beats the Saints. Bills, Jets, obviously Bills. Seahawks, Steelers, Seahawks. Rams, Titans, Rams. Cardinals, Panthers. I'm thinking. I have to say Cardinals. Broncos, Colts, Broncos. Normally when this happens, the team that won the Super Bowl lost. So I'm going to say that the Chiefs beat the Eagles. For example, when it was Super Bowl 57, wait, was it a season ago? Yeah, it was a season ago. Not this season, but the one before that. When the Eagles played the Chiefs in Super Bowl 57, the Eagles beat the Chiefs in season because the Eagles lost in the Super Bowl. So my theory is correct, then that means that I'm right. Hold up. Falcons, Vikings. That's a bold move, but I think the Falcons probably take that. Texans, Bucks. I have the Texans. The Chargers win against the Raiders, which is fair. Bills, Dolphins, easily Bills. Falcons, Panthers, Panthers. Packers, Browns, obviously Packers. The Jags beat the Texans. The Vikings surprise the Bengals. The Steelers beat the Patriots. The Eagles beat the, what is it called? What team are they? The Rams? Yep, the Rams. It's the Jets against the Bucks, and the Bucks beat the Jets. Depending on whoever plays for Colts, if it's Anthony Richardson, they have a chance to win. But I'm just gonna take the choice and take the Titans. Alright, the Commanders beat the Raiders, as expected. The Chargers beat the Broncos. Saints, Seahawks, good game, but I think the Seahawks just win. Cowboys beat the Bears. Niners, Cardinals could go either way, but I just think the Cardinals probably have that. Seahawks, Cardinals. Kyler's better. I'm saying the Cardinals. Steelers, Vikings. Depending on if Aaron Rodgers signs, I think the Vikings still win, though. Commanders, Falcons. Falcons surprised the Commanders, too. Bills beat the Saints. Oh, forgot to predict these two. Anyways. Titans, Texans, not even close. Panthers, Patriots. Patriots get a win somehow. Chargers, Giants. Chargers. Bucks, Eagles. Let's see. The Colts against the Rams. I have the Colts winning that. I get the Rams have good receivers, but you can't bank on them being good every game. Alright, the Niners beat the Jags, and the Ravens beat the Chiefs. I had the Bears beating the Raiders, so I'm going to say the Bears. And the Packers beat the Cowboys. Currently, the worst team in the playoffs is 2-2. Where's the Broncos? Why are they not? I missed two teams again. Anyways, the Jets beat the Dolphins, and the Bengals beat the Broncos. There's 4 teams on bye this week. The Rams beat the Niners. The Browns finally get a win against the Vikings, which is possible depending on J.J. McCarthy. The Ravens beat the Texans. We beat the Colts. The Panthers and Dolphins. I take the Panthers. Jets beat the Cowboys. Meanwhile, the Eagles and Broncos, I gotta take the Eagles. The Cardinals' undefeated reign is over. Bucks and Seahawks, I gotta take the Bucks on that. That's a good matchup, but in the end, the Bucks will win that. Lions, Bengals, that is a really good game. The Lions, did they lose a lot of key players? No, the Bengals are not good at defense, so I'm just taking the Lions. I have the Chargers beating them. The Commanders. The Bills will take down the Patriots, but Chiefs will still beat the Jags. Eagles, Giants. I have the Eagles winning that. Broncos should beat the Jets. Rams upset the Ravens, as no team is undefeated now. Cowboys get a win. Colts get a win. Jags win. For these two, this is a good one, but I think the Dolphins should win that. Steelers beat the Browns. Niners squeaked by the Bucks. I gotta see what I chose for the Raiders against the Titans. Okay. So the Raiders will beat the Titans. The Bengals will beat the Packers. Oh my god. The Patriots will beat the Saints. Lions, Chiefs, I have the Lions. These could go either way, but I think the Bills win that. Meanwhile, that should be easy. The worst team in the playoffs is the 2 and 3 Texans. The Steelers somehow beat the Bengals. The Jags beat the Rams. The Saints go against the Bears. The Bears beat them. Alright, it's the Browns against the Dolphins. They win that. And then the Chiefs beat the Raiders. Put BTA. Anyways. Vikings could beat the Eagles, but I'm just having the Eagles win that. Panthers against the Jets. Panthers should win that. Low-key, Titans are gonna beat them. Giants get their first win. And the Colts, Chargers, that should be Chargers. Packers will beat the Cardinals. And it happened last year, but Cowboys kind of downgraded at running back. So I'm going to say the Commanders win that. Yeah, the Vikings will beat the Chargers at that rate. Dolphins, Falcons. Wait, I missed it. I missed a week. I know I missed a week. Where's the Falcon? Oh my god, I missed 3 games this time. The Niners, Falcons. I got the Falcons. I got the Bucks. And for Texans, Seahawks, I got Texans. Dolphins, Falcons. Falcons will beat the Dolphins. Bears, Ravens. That's a horrible game. I think the Ravens whoop their butts. And the Panthers can beat the Bills, but I just have the Bills. The Jets against the Bengals. The Jets can win that because they can actually. They're one of the few teams that could stop the Bengals' offense because they have a great defense. It got a little weaker, but they still beat the Bengals. Niners, Texans, that should be Texans. Browns will beat the Patriots somehow. The Eagles will beat the Giants. The Saints will upset the Bucks. I don't know why they haven't updated it yet. The Cowboys, they squeaked by the Broncos in a Javonte Williams revenge game. The Titans beat the Colts. And the Packers, Steelers win that. Actually, no, Packers win that because they don't really care about Aaron Rodgers anyways. And then the Commanders could beat the Chiefs. That would have been a lit Super Bowl, but I have the Commanders winning. The worst team in the playoffs currently is the 4 and 3. Every team that's 4 and 3. Wait, no, it's the Dolphins at 4 and 4. The Ravens will beat the Dolphins. The Bears, Bengals win. Vikings, Lions. I have the Lions, obviously. Panthers, Packers. I have the Texans. Patriots, Falcons. That should be Falcons. The Niners win that, and the Steelers could win against the Colts, but I think the Colts take that. Alright, the Chargers easily take down the Titans. The Rams win, and the Jags win, and the Chiefs beat the Bills. Seahawks against Commanders. Seahawks upset the Commanders. Cowboys, Cardinals. Worst team now in the playoffs is the Steelers. That's pretty bad. Anyways. So we split series with Broncos. I gotta click on the Broncos. I need to click on the Broncos because I don't know if I... Wait, was this the first week we had the Broncos? Because if not, then we split. What team did the Broncos play? They definitely didn't play us. Huh? I'm not seeing them. Oh, they played the Giants. Raiders played the Titans. Broncos played the Bengals, so it's fine. Raiders played the Commanders. Raiders played the Chargers then. So no, the Raiders haven't played them. Week are we on? 9? No, we're in 10. So in this case, the Broncos will win that. Falcons, Colts, Falcons. Panthers lose to the Saints somehow. Bears beat the Giants. Texans beat the Jags. Bills sweep the Dolphins. Vikings somehow beat the Ravens. The Jets beat the Browns. Bucks beat the Patriots. Seahawks beat the Cardinals. Niners beat the Rams. Lions beat the Commanders. Chargers beat the Steelers. And the Eagles beat the Packers. And the Jets beat the Patriots. The Dolphins beat the Commanders. The Panthers beat the Falcons. Bills beat the Bucks. Jags beat the Chargers. Vikings beat the Bears. The Packers beat the Giants. The Bengals beat the Steelers. Texans beat the Titans. Niners beat the Cardinals. I had the Cowboys beaten, so the Raiders beat the Cowboys. The Rams beat the Seahawks. The Ravens beat the Browns. Broncos somehow beat the Chiefs. And then Eagles Lions. That's a good matchup. I have the Lions winning that. The worst team in the playoffs are the 5-5 Jets, it looks like. And the best team's the Ravens. Alright, I'm not even gonna ask that. That's a good game. The Bills will beat the Texans. Jets will beat the Ravens somehow. Steelers, Bears. I have the Bears winning that. Bengals should easily beat that. Yeah, that's not even a question. Packers win one game in the division, I think. Anyways, Chiefs will beat the Colts. Seahawks, Titans. I have the Seahawks. The Jags could beat the Cardinals. Cardinals will win, though. The Raiders, I had beaten the Browns. I gotta recheck that. Yep. Raiders beat the Browns. The Cowboys somehow beat the Eagles. Falcons beat the Saints. Bucks beat the Rams. Panthers beat the Niners. These don't look bad. The worst team is surprisingly the Giants. Shocker. Yeah, that's not even a hard choice. Lions will beat the Packers, officially clinching the playoffs. The Bengals can beat the Ravens and will for that game. Eagles win. The Rams and Panthers, I have the Rams winning that. Niners, Browns will win that. Texans, Colts. Saints, Dolphins, I have the Dolphins with that. Falcons will beat the Jets. Cardinals and Bucks. Bucks will take that. The Jags will beat the Titans. The Vikings will beat the Seahawks. Yes, I did have the Chargers win before, so the Raiders will be 6-6. Bills and Steelers. Steelers will somehow beat the Bills. Chargers, Broncos, or not Chargers, Broncos. Commanders, Broncos. That will be taken. Patriots will beat the Giants. The Lions will beat the Cowboys. Seahawks beat the Falcons. The Steelers' run ends as the Ravens will beat them. The Titans beat the Browns. The Bears play the Packers, and the Packers will not beat them. Jags play the Colts, and the Jags will win that. The Commanders beat the Vikings. Jets will beat the Dolphins, sweeping them. I think the Raiders played them in Week 10. Did I have the Raiders win? No, I didn't. Okay. Well, then I made it fair and square. Anyways. Saints will beat the Bucks down here. Cardinals will beat the Rams. Bills will beat the Bengals. Chiefs will beat the Texans. Eagles will beat the Chargers. So the Raiders still aren't in the playoffs. It kind of surprises me. I guess they're 7-6, so to be fair. They're going to finish 9-8, so, well, I guess, I don't know. The Browns play the Bears. The Bears take that. The Ravens beat the Bengals again. The Texans beat the Cardinals. The Jags beat the Jets. The Chiefs beat the Chargers. Patriots beat the Bills because the Bills somehow don't start their starters. Giants will beat the Commanders. What did I have for this? Of course I made the Eagles lose. Or win. Packers lose to the Broncos. Lions lose to the Rams. Panthers beat the Saints. And the Seahawks beat the Colts. Niners beat the Titans. Vikings beat the Cowboys. And the Dolphins beat the Steelers. Teams that won their division. The Eagles and the Lions have won their division. If the Chiefs win one more game, they already won the division. The Bengals need to lose another game, and then the division's the Ravens. Actually, it probably already is. Seahawks play the Rams. Seahawks will win that. Do they sweep? Yeah, they sweep them. The Bears beat the Packers. The Commanders beat the Eagles. The Ravens beat the Patriots. Panthers beat the Bucks. Bills beat the Browns. The Chargers won't go out with a fight, beating the Cowboys. The Jets beat the Saints. Vikings beat the Giants. Chiefs win the division. The Falcons beat the Cardinals. Actually, no, the Cardinals win that. Didn't realize it. Mike Tomlin is pretty salty about not being above 500 for the first time. So he wins against the Lions, and then the Raiders beat the Texans. And the Bills also won their division apparently. And the others are still tight races. The Commanders will beat the Cowboys. The Vikings are trying to make the playoffs, beating the Lions. The Broncos beat the Chiefs. Seahawks against the Panthers. That's a good matchup. The Seahawks have that. The Bengals beat the Cardinals beat the Bengals. The Ravens win against the Packers. Texans beat the Chargers. Raiders beat the Giants. Steelers against Browns. Should be the Steelers. Jags against Colts. I have the Colts winning. Alright, the Bucks against the Dolphins. I have the Bucks. The Jets beat the Patriots. That should be easy. The Titans beat the Saints in a horrific matchup. The Bills and Josh Allen beat Jalen Hurts. The Niners, who forgot to play a game, apparently, need to play another one. I need to find that out. The Rams against the Falcons. I have the Rams on that. Falcons beat the Saints. Alright, hold up. Let's see who to clinch their divisions. So the Ravens clinch their division. The Lions haven't lost. Lions are out of it. The Lions still could lose the division somehow. And that's it, really. The Bills beat the Jets. Bengals beat the Browns. Lions beat the Bears. The Chargers beat the Broncos. Texans beat the Colts. Jags beat the Titans. Rams beat the Cardinals. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we knew that was going to happen. Vikings beat the Packers. Oh, the Dolphins. Oh, they played the Niners. Oh, I missed that too. Dang it. Anyways, the Giants beat the Cowboys, the Eagles and Commanders. The Commanders win. The Ravens beat the Steelers. And then this could defy the division. Have the Bucks winning. So the official playoff matchups are in. Why do these seem like I've seen them before? Anyways. So I need to go back to other weeks and check out what team I missed. What week I missed. Oh, there's two matchups. The Niners will beat the... What did that do? It did nothing. Okay. But I think the Colts probably win that. The Bengals win. Doesn't really matter, but that's my official record predictions. Should I predict the playoff games? I'm going to do it. Wild card round. Bills beat the Jets. Huh? Wait. Doesn't look right. That does not look right. So what does that do? What does week 16 do? What did week 16 do? I'm so confused. My head hurts. It was the Texans against the... Whatever. Anyways. The Jags will beat the Bengals. And for this side, the Eagles, Seahawks, and Vikings. Did I not defy this? There. The Ravens will take down the Jags, and the Bills will take down the Chiefs. Now for the other side, it's the Lions and Eagles. Bills will win that, and the Lions will win that, setting up for a Bills and Lions Super Bowl, where I'm taking the Bills. But that is all for today. If you guys like it, like, subscribe. Trying at 160 now, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.